Okay, guys, welcome to the Chosen One podcast show. If you landed on this podcast episode, you are probably a manifesting generator and a female entrepreneur, coach, or expert. So, welcome, take a cup of tea, and binge listen to all the amazing episodes I have set up for you. Episodes to help you create the right energy and mindset to create the manifesting generator business and life of your dreams. Here we go.
Okay, Queens, first business episode recorded in Greece. I'm really hoping it's going to be another 3-part series because I really love the 3-part series. It gives the audience, you guys, an opportunity to really tune into your sacral and feel like, okay, what is lighting me up, and just like tune into all the mini series I have and then just like dive into it, right? So I'm really loving this, and I'm currently in Greece with my beautiful daughter and my husband, and it was a surprise I booked for him because his birthday was this week. And I was like, what in the world should I give him, right? And in the past, we always did like that. We would give away each other a trip to Venice or to Milan or to Marrakesh, or we did all these things. And I'm like, you know what? Let's pick that habit up again. So basically searched for a place that the sun was still shining and it was still warm, and we're on a beautiful retreat here. So it's very nice. I had a beautiful massage this morning, which was very much needed because I actually got sick before we went on holiday and it just wouldn't pass. And it was really hard for me to connect with my body because I was like my ears were clogged. Is that the right word? Clogged? I don't know. But my sound was really bad. My ears were hurting. Like, it was really difficult for me to come into connection with my body. And when that happens, I really tend to feel lost, right? If I cannot connect to my body, it's really hard to make connections with other people, with myself, and with my business. So yes, the massage was very much needed, and it really helped me ground again and come back into my body and into my own energy. So I'm currently trying to get my baby to sleep. She's in the Artie Poppa, and I'm like listening to an episode from one of the business coaches that I really enjoy. She has a very uplifting energy. She's a manifesting generator as well, and whenever I tune into her content, somehow I get downloads for my own content. So a little behind the scenes, September was a very successful month. We welcomed a lot of new MGs into the Business Dream Academy, 6 new women, so that's very exciting. Some of them start in October, some of them start in November. That's what I love about this whole evergreen program, that people can really decide for themselves when they actually want to start a program. And the reason that there is some sort of urgency for people to get in right away is because I do offer special prices during my webinars, right? So I have sales webinars, and during those sales webinars I offer limited time prices, and actually the price goes up every time, but it's still a limited price because the value of the academy goes up every single month, because it's just a very valuable academy. There is so much growth happening in there. So every time I'm like, wow, this academy should be like way more expensive than it is right now. So it's currently at 7,500 euros for 3 months. So for 3 months of the coaching portal, the mastermind / creative workspace, because that's basically what the MG Business Dream Academy is. You join the container. You start whenever you want to start. Like if you want to start, you always start at the first Tuesday of the month. So if you want to start in November, you can start in November. You can also start in December. But when you sign up, you will already start with the preparation phase. So it's very important that you always start off with the preparation phase. This is a very fun space because you actually get instant access to my complete inspiration. I call it the inspiration box, but I still don't feel like that's really a good name for it because it's so much more than that. It's basically the academy. You get access to my whole academy, like all the content I have created so far for my Manifesting Generator entrepreneurial sisters to help them become the CEO of their business. And you just basically tune into 50 minutes a day from something out of that academy. And it's so fun for me to already receive so many beautiful messages from women who are in that preparation phase and are like, oh my God, Soph, I'm already so loving the decision that I made to step into this portal. The academy itself, it's already so freaking valuable. There's already so much shifting. So that's basically what you do in the preparation phase, because I truly believe that in order for me to get really next level results with you guys, I want to get you to a certain frequency, right? At a higher frequency, you just can receive more information, you can receive more downloads, you can hear more things. It's like your whole view is not so narrow, right? It's very broad when I get you to a higher frequency. And that's basically what we do in the preparation phase. So this upcoming Tuesday is the first Tuesday of the month again. So it's the first time that the first group and the second group will come together. And we'll do the first frequency call, because the first Tuesday of the month is always the frequency calls. And then we basically set the intention for the month. We decide on, okay, what is it that you want to focus on in your specific unique MG business this month. And then we basically do the frequency work. I do the initiation work to help you become an energetic match for the desire that you have that month. And then the weeks after that, you basically execute what we have decided on. And then we have like a one-on-one in the second week. And then the fourth week we do the evaluation, which is so important as well, the evaluation. I had the evaluation call here in Greece with the first group. Very interesting call because I was super sick. My daughter was sick as well, so she joined the call, the final part of the call. So it was a little bit chaotic. And at the same time, it was so beautiful because in the chaos, a lot of the time, there's so much beauty to be discovered in the chaos, right? It's like we always want everything to be perfect, but perfection is actually pretty boring. I mean, our mind loves perfection, but our soul, it craves those imperfect experiences, right? Because in the imperfection, we grow so much. So yeah, it was a beautiful, imperfect call, but it helped shift the reality for my clients, which was my most important intention, of course, always. And then it's really not up to me to judge the form, as long as it did what it needed to do. And it changed the outcome for all the women present, because we all have the tendency, as CEOs of our business, I mean, you cannot be a good CEO. At least that's what our mind is making us believe, unless you're striving perfection, right? And I absolutely am perfectionistic as well, right? I want good results for my clients. I want good results for myself, but it does have to come from a soul-aligned place, right? So there's a big difference between soul-aligned perfection and mind-created perfection, right? So basically, I think that soul-aligned perfection has a lot to do with putting the outcome first. And then mind-created perfection is really about being super focused on the form and really being rigid about how it needs to happen, right? And I had this interesting download when I was in Greece here, when I wrote something down. They basically showed me imperfection. There's the most growth. The most growth happens in the imperfect moments. And that basically we have the opportunity in every imperfect moment to see what the lessons are and that when we are willing to let go of the form, the actual beauty can arise, right? So a lot of the times, like I witnessed that on this holiday as well, right? Because it had been so long since we had been on on a holiday, and we haven't flew with an airplane for over 13 years because before we had our beautiful baby, we had another baby, which was our dog, and he was literally our baby as well. And he passed away in December, just before Christmas in 2022. And basically, since we had him, we never went on holiday again with an airplane because we really wanted to be with him 24/7. The way we are with our daughter, that's also the way we were with our dog. He went with us always, and if we couldn't go somewhere because of him, we just basically wouldn't go. So so flying was not an option. And so this was the first time, right? So it was really exciting, but also a little bit like there was some I put pressure on it, right? I was like, it needs to be perfect because it's the first time, and the weather has to be perfect, and everything has to be perfect. And the first couple of days, I noticed myself really being stuck in that energy of like striving for that perfection, right? And I think most of the time when we actually strive for that perfection, that's actually when it's like not happening at all, right? So the first days the weather wasn't that amazing. And then at a certain point I was just like, you know what, Sophie? Let it go. What if the experience is the perfection? What if the joy is in the experience, right? And yeah, that's basically what I surrender to. I surrender to the experience. Like, let's just see what happens. Like, what will unfold when the weather isn't perfect, or what will unfold if this isn't perfect or that isn't perfect, right? And the moment when we do that, the moment when we surrender, that's actually when the beauty arises, and that's when. That's actually when you can get surprises as well, right? You're like surprised by the outcome. You're like, oh wow, I didn't anticipate this outcome, or I didn't knew this was possible, right? So yeah, this is like a long introduction because the download I received for this particular episode had to do with being clear about your desire. And I think it's pretty linked to the content I just shared, because I feel like a lot of business owners are so focused on the details, right? They're like, okay, I have to have a perfect Instagram feed, or I have to have the perfect email funnel, or I have to have the perfect sales page. And they're really focused on the specifics. And it's totally fine to have a perfect email funnel or a perfect Instagram feed or anything like that. But it all has to do with the sequence, right? This is also something I talk about in my book. The book is only in Dutch, so it's not available at this moment in English. It's called The Instructions to an Enlightened Life, and it's a conversation between me and my source energy, where I basically ask her questions and they answer it through the identity of Rose. And then in that book, they explain every time that it all has to do with like the sequence, the spirit, mind, physical sequence, right? And when you do something when you start off with the mind place, when you're like, okay, I want to create something from a mind place, and you go into it from that frequency, you cannot get a soul aligned result, right? Mind action will actually lead to mind results. So what are mind results? Mind results are you, for example, making lots of money, but still don't feel the satisfaction or the peace of mind that you desire with it, right? Or you maybe find a lover, but then he cheats, right? So mind desires and mind actions lead to mind results. So I'm really in the business of teaching other manifesting generators, how to create results from a soul-aligned place. And if you want to create results from a soul-aligned place, you need to show up from a soul-aligned place first. And this is exactly why I crafted out the Dream Academy the way I have done it, right? So when you start in the Dream Academy, the first Tuesday is always the frequency work. We always have to start with the frequency work, with the desire, with what is it that I truly want. And then we can shift to the mind work, right? Then we can shift to the inspired action. Then is when we put in the strategies and we do strategic things in order to get the result into the physical reality. But it has to start off with that soul aligned place. And this is what I really wanted to talk about today, is if you have a clear understanding of what your desire is. So I was listening to the podcast episode of this other coach, and she was talking about something, and all of a sudden I got a very clear vision of what my desire is. I'm like, oh my God, like I really got such a clear vision of my next desire for my business. And this is the way I start my months. This is how I start every single month, with getting clear on the specifics of what I desire. So I currently have my business I'm very satisfied with it. I make a good amount of money. I have very fun and soul aligned clients that I work with. I'm actually looking at two beautiful villas right now and overlooking the beach. It's like beautiful here. But I actually am very satisfied with where my business is at. But there's always a next level that we desire. I mean, there's never, at least for me, there's never a moment that I'm just like, okay, I'm done, thank you. And I really don't think we're designed to be done. I really don't think it's a bad thing. I actually think it's a beautiful thing that we always desire more. Life is about growth, right? If you look at an apple, it's always evolving. And when it stops evolving, it dies. So don't ever let anybody tell you that it's a bad thing to have desires or goals, because it's beautiful. It's literally what keeps us alive and what keeps our business alive. So when you shift your mindset about that whole narrative around having desires and having unfulfilled desires, it actually becomes something beautiful, because I see so many entrepreneurs who feel frustrated about the fact that they haven't actually accomplished their desires yet. And I'm always super excited when I don't have a fulfilled desire yet, because I'm like, oh wow, I have something I can work on, right? This is something I can dive into and make happen. And then I know by the time I achieved it, I'll have another desire. But basically, long story short, the way I craft my business, the way I really make sure that the needle gets going in my unique MG business, is by having monthly goals, monthly desires to work through. And then at the end of each month, I evaluate. Today, it's the 29th, I think. So we're almost at the beginning of the month. So this is the time where I get clear about what is it that I desire. And I got this clear vision. I'm like, you know what I really, really desire? I really desire that when I'm on a holiday, like I am right now, I actually want to have orders coming in as well. 1 second, guys. I need to make a picture of this beautiful beach. 1 second. Hey, yeah. Okay, I just had to make a picture of that. It was so beautiful because I haven't been here before. So I was walking here and I'm like, oh my God, that would be such a cool thing to be actually on a holiday and have multiple orders coming in, that for my MG Business Dream Academy, for my low price offer, multiple, just that the business really runs on its own without me being present in it. That's something that I would really, really desire. And I feel like I have accomplished that until a certain level, because I actually do have orders coming in on a daily basis, even though I'm not always actively present in my email or on my social media. It's not completely dependent on me being present, but it is still for a large part dependent on how energetically present I am in my business. And I would like to see if I can make it happen to have the business run on itself, even though when I'm not energetically present. So I have sort of figured out how to make that happen without me always being physically present. But on a holiday, I'm not only physically not present, but I'm energetically not present in my business either. And I thought it would be like a fun experiment to see how I can make that happen, right? That business actually runs on itself even when I'm not energetically present. So that's a desire, and I'm gonna let that play out and see what comes up, what kind of like strategic solutions the universe will show to me to start implementing and experimenting. And then I will definitely keep you updated about it. But for now, like, this is the first part of this 3-part series, which is all about like getting clear about your desire. What is your desire for this month? Get clear about it, write it down, and then let the universe show you what soul-aligned actions to take to actually start implementing it and get the results that you desire. And do not forget to make sure that by the end of the month you evaluate, because without evaluation, there is no growth, there is no progress. Okay? Love you guys, and we'll talk soon.